Hello, friends and neighbors. Welcome to episode 12 of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. We're here at the underground recording studio at the 19th hole. And of course, we have producer Grammy watching the front door. And as always, we have a man so bad that he was denied the opportunity to run for student council in high school. Benny, that's a good one. Hey, how you doing, brother? How was your week?
I'm doing good. The week was good. And I just want to say we probably would have won that election if they had allowed us to run. But unfortunately, you know what? Politics got in the way.
Exactly, man. They were scared. We would have turned that around. We would have had teachers parking other kids' valet service. We would have had that school rolling, but they were scared.
Grade 12 would have been even better, you know? So, but yeah, otherwise, good. Pretty good week. We had a interview earlier this week with Willard Reeves, so don't forget to check that out on your platform of choice, wherever you want. We got it up on YouTube. Check it out at Ray and Benny Talk Sports. It was a pretty good week, though. Can't complain. A lot of stuff going on in the sports world. So,
yeah, it's rough. The CFL's kind of winding down. Free agent frenzy is going to be coming up in the new year, and we'll definitely get to talking about that. Like you said, that sit down with Willard Reeves was pretty cool. Again, to be able to sit with, like we sat with James Murphy, Willard Reeves, we had James West earlier on. We're pretty lucky for a new podcast to get these great Bomber legends. So don't worry, folks. We got some great Bomber news coming for you. We're going to talk about the NFL, what's going on there. A little crazy action, of course, COVID rearing its ugly head around sports and especially around the NHL. They're taking an early holiday. And they're not going to China. We're going to talk about that. But let's start off with our Winnipeg Jets. Big news, Jets Nation. We have a new coach with Mr. Lowry. Paul Maurice had a very gentlemanly and classy press conference on the way out. But your thoughts on that, brother? We're in a new era. The Pomo experiment is done.
Yeah, it was, it's probably about time. I've let my feelings been known a few times on this podcast where I think they should have been and all that stuff. So as much as a good person or a good man, Paul Maurice was, it was time. And, like he said, it was time for a new voice. And I agree with him there. And it was probably time for a new voice for a little bit, probably over the last couple of seasons. So, I think winning that Oilers season maybe saved him. That Oilers series, saved him last season, and maybe got him to another year though. So, it was shocking to see him resign. I didn't expect that at all. I expected if anything was going to happen, it would be in January. They would kind of gauge where they were in terms of playoff spot or not. And if it had to be done, Chevy would have been done. But it does. When you heard Pomo talk, it sounded like it was his choice. When you heard Chevy talk, it almost sounded like it was a mutual decision to move on. So, at the end of the day, it was the right move, but still shocking at the same time.
Yeah, there was kind of a weird vibe going on for me still with this resignation and then Chevy's presser after that. I don't know what's going on. Do I believe the Jets will be a better team without Pomo? I hope so. Because there doesn't seem to be a huge culture change that's going to happen just because the head guy is gone. You have the whole coaching staff still intact, the same roster. So I hope Lowry is that new voice because really there aren't any other options, and it seems like they're going to stick with him for the year. Which kind of makes me worried because the worry was this roster was not playing up to the potential. And if you're going to waste a year with the same kind of voice and tone, I don't know. Obviously, what can you do? The guy wanted out and he left. But I can only hope that they do well. They got that 4-2 win, so I'm hoping they get better.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Chevy thinks he has a good enough team here that he put together with the changes on D, with the forward group they have. So I think he's expecting another voice comes in and maybe Lowry can get that potential out of this team that he sees, right? But that to me would put now Chevy is on the hot seat. And if Lowry fails to get this group to fight for a playoff spot or even make the playoffs, I think then at that point it's almost time for, hey, we need new voices all around. Clear out Chevy, clear out the assistants, and let's start, with a brand new set of voices in that dressing room from the top down, and see what they can get out of this group. Because, I mean, there's going to be roster change over to the next season. Who knows if Andrew Kopp's still going to be around because he's a free agent.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chevy made the moves. He's got Dylan and Schmidt on D. It's supposed to make our D a little bit better. Has it? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, though, you had Paul Maurice mentioned that he had this conversation with Chevy and Mark Chipman in the summertime, where he was in his coaching and if he wanted to keep going or not. And it sounds like they almost convinced him or something to stick around and see what he can do into that. To me, if the guy comes up to you with that, I would say, you know, okay, let's maybe move on. You got a new voice at the beginning of the season instead of 3 months into the season, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the season doesn't go as up and down. I know Maurice changed some things this year when he came in. So I guess, you know, they wanted to see if that would work, but you know what, it wasn't. There was 3 or 4 games where things would work, but then there's 3 or 4 games it wouldn't. One game it would, and then after that, you know, it was just all over the place. There was no consistency. Ever since they beat the Oilers there back in November 5-2, and even the next night or a couple nights when they played the Oilers and they lost in a shootout, that was probably one of their better games of the season. They just couldn't beat Stuart Skinner. But ever since then, there's been no consistency in the Jets play at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too quick to bring Chevy on the chopping block. He's built quite the organization, quite the system of young players coming through. And I don't think he is the issue. Maybe he's the issue in the sense of you mentioning him and Chipman and their loyalty and convincing a guy to come back when he's out of it. And I can't blame him for being out of it. He's in a hockey crazy market under probably a brighter, a stronger microscope than they are in Toronto, even because the access to the coach is just there. And maybe during COVID, and maybe he had enough. And if that was the case, yeah, maybe you should have moved forward rather than try to force the guy to come back.
For sure, 8 years is a long time for any coach, really. And if you're not bringing in championships, it's a long time, right? We've seen coaches not last very long in the NHL at all, where teams, you know, they had high expectations. They even got to the second or third round and they've been wiped out the next season kind of thing, right? Yeah. But, you know, 8 years for Maurice here, it was a long time. And he did some good things here, for sure. I mean, we got to the Western Conference Final. We got to the playoffs. What was it, that same year he got here or just the year after against Anaheim? So he did some really good things, and he brought the Jets forward a bit. But, yeah, time to move on and time to go. And I wish Paul Maurice all the best.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to see how this team is rounding up because we're in a pause.
Yeah,
and rightfully so in the NHL. 11 teams have suspended operations. 15% of the players are under COVID protocols. Despite what Hellebuck says, and I'm sorry, Jets Nation, I am absolutely in disagreement with this dude, Dr. Vezina Hellebuck. Give me a break, man. Why would you want to go to China, man? I understand you're disappointed, but like have some grace, like Steve Stamkos. Just say you're disappointed and don't say, oh, they're overreaching or overreacting, man, because you're not a doctor. You're not a scientist as far as I know. So please stay in your lane with that. But still, it's a frustrating situation, man, to have the season stop once again. And I understand his position there. What a shitty situation to have to stop a season again because of COVID, bro.
It's probably a lot of frustration on his part. And I do agree, you know, the Olympics are out. Don't even bother with it. So I don't agree with him on that one. You got to get the season kind of still going somehow. Wish they would have had some kind of better plan if this were to happen, what they were going to end up doing instead of just shutting things down. Because it's going to be tough. And then it could end up happening like they did to Vancouver last year, where they're pushing Vancouver playing 2 games, you know, back to back, or 3 games in 4 nights. And, you know, it's going to be a lot and take a lot on those players if they do that. So hopefully now they can use that Olympic break to make up some of these games.
Absolutely.
And hopefully after Christmas here, the season can continue to roll on, right? Because if they have to push back any further, it's going to be tough to get this season done.
Yeah, I think it's great that they have that Olympic period to make up. I think they only scheduled 1 out of 15 games so far. So they have another 14, but you can spread those out over 2-3 weeks, and hopefully the cases will be down. Teams will be able to be up and operating again. So, you know, by the luck of the draw, maybe this is just the perfect timing. They're about to go into Christmas break in another week or so anyways. So let's just jump it up, get the cases down, make sure people are safe, and then try and run at it again when we can, or when we can, not like I'm involved, bro, but when they can, when they all come back
You're not
to
playing
their facilities and get it going. No, not this year, man. Not this year.
Next year,
I gave it up.
Next year.
Well,
okay.
now that Pomo's gone, now I'll get a shot. Play on that power play, bro. Get that slap shot going.
Dude, if you had a chance, you would have got to play now because he loves old guys. Right?
Look at this guy. Same age. You're older than me. You're older than me. Talking about my age. Give me a break here. But yeah, that's where we are with the NHL. But one more thing before we leave the NHL, and man, I was wrong about this hit when we were talking. The Tanner Kero hit, the Dallas player. Oh my goodness. When I initially saw it, I did not see a clean look at that puck going off the board. And yeah, bro, maybe he should have let off, because I said, I don't know if he should get many games, and 4 seems almost light. What are your thoughts on that brutal hit?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I mean, that puck was high up on the glass, right? So he really had no chance. The guy wasn't expecting anything. He was just watching the puck go out, and like, hey, I'm going to skate up the ice and go get it. But he got lit up by Brent Connolly there, and I agree with you. 4 games is not enough. Like, you have to teach these guys. Like, these guys talk about being a brotherhood and all this kind of stuff, but when they have the opportunity to lay someone out, they take it. And unfortunately, this wasn't even close to being clean at all. And it's kind of disappointing to see this kind of stuff still happening there in the NHL and stuff. So So
the only defense I can have for the guy, if I could have one, is his position behind the other player that he was, Connolly. Behind Kero, that he did not get a clean look at the puck. Maybe he just thought it was getting a normal pass off the boards, and he tried to take the player off the puck. That's the only thing I can see in defense of that guy, because that was a pretty rough one.
Yeah, I got no defense that I can give that guy at all for that hit.
Yeah. Let's move on to the CFL. CFL wrapping things up, just getting in under the COVID deadline. Thank goodness. It's going to be a busy offseason, bro. We've seen these free agent lists, the available free agents available. But
everybody's a free agent.
Pretty much, eh? More than like half of these rosters. Give me your take on this past 2021 CFL season.
Well, as a Bomber fan, it was a great season. Can't complain really too much about it. I mean, right from the get-go, they came out rolling against Hamilton and continued it on all the way to the Grey Cup Championship. For the most part, I mean, yeah, the Bombers ran away with the league a bit, but the rest of the league, minus the Red Blacks and the Elks, were pretty, fairly competitive. Some teams started off slowly and then got going as the season went on. But all in all, it was an entertaining season. They got it in. They only had one issue with COVID situation with the Elks early in the season. Nothing too crazy there, and yeah, the CFL pulled off a pretty good season with fans in the stands and everything, and never had to really stop at all.
Yeah, as a Bomber fan, it was a pretty magical season.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the most dominant football teams, not just Bomber teams, football teams we've seen in at least our generation, and perhaps the one before us as well. They were just dominant, like you said, from beginning to the end. 14 All-Stars. 11 All-Canadians or All-CFLers or wherever they call them nowadays, Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Lineman of the Year, Most Outstanding Player, Zach Collaros. Winnipeg should be proud. First stadium in North America.
Only one loss, really, right? I mean, they only lost once. Never at home either.
Toronto.
Toronto, that was in Toronto, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So and then the last 2 games that they ended up losing at the end of the season. I mean, you're resting your backups are in that game. Your starters are resting. So it's like, maybe they only end up losing that one against Toronto when it was all said and done. But like you said, that was
not much on the end at the end. Not much to play for at the end.
No.
Like I was saying, it's an incredible feat. First stadium in North America to go fully vaccinated and still get good crowds in Winnipeg. And I understand they weren't as usual, but we're coming out of a pandemic. Some people don't want to, or like we mentioned, don't have the money to do it. But to still get over 20,000 and then to bring in 31,000 at that West final was unbelievable. And in the CFL in general, I think those senior advisors, management, they got to chill out. Don't worry about changing the rules, changing the ratios. No. We're coming off a year where they didn't have OTAs, QBs, rookie camps. They didn't have a full training camp, no exhibition, just relax. Let the game come back and try to regain the Canadian market and worry less about the American market, man. That's kind of my take on this year's CFL. What's up?
No, I agree with that totally. I mean, they tried with the American market before. I mean, they got games showing on ESPN and stuff like that right now. At least let them get you interested. It's a different game. I mean, it's CFL. You know, like we said this before. 4 downs is not going to interest more people to this game. It's just going to take people away from the game that are already fans right now. So
100%.
You know, try and figure out different things that might attract more fans, but changing the rules is, I would say that's the last thing you almost got to look at and try and figure something else out.
Yeah, let's dominate the Canadian market. Let's get that market going again. Then we'll worry about America and the world later. Let's get to some fun stuff, bro. If you were Kyle Walters, we're talking about these free agents, and you could only keep 8 of the current Bomber free agents, who would your 8 be?
Well, you know what? If I was Kyle Walters, this would not be fun at all. Going through this, everyone's a free agent basically, right? And you're looking at going, okay, I'll keep that guy, but that guy too, but I can't keep that guy too, right? So, you want me to just name off my 8 that I would do?
Yeah, let's chat about this. What do you got?
First off, I'd start. You got to go with QB. I would keep. You got to keep Zach Collaros in there. He's done well over the 2 seasons that he's been here.
Yeah.
Andrew Harris, he's a big cog on that team, and as long as he's healthy and can contribute the same way he's been, you got to bring Harris back. And then we go to the O line and D line, which we always say those are probably your 2 biggest spots on the team, right? If those 2 lines can dominate, then you're in pretty good position. So I'm going to bring back Jamarcus Hardrick and Stanley Bryant on the O line, at least. On the D line, Jackson Jeffcoat and Willie Jefferson. And then you got to go some heart and soul here and Adam Big. Well, not just heart and soul, but obviously a great player too. But Adam Bighill, and then safety Brandon Alexander. That guy just brings it on that back end.
Absolutely.
And those hits just they put fear into those receivers sometimes. So if he's gone, that's going to be sorely missed.
Yeah, that's a DB I definitely keep. I agree with you there. A lot of ours are the same, obviously. Like you said, I'm obsessed with football starting at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. I kept Stanley Bryant, Jamarcus Hardrick, and also Drew Desjardins, 24-year-old guard. He is a staple of the interior line in Winnipeg. You got to keep that guy. With you, I got Jackson Jeffcoat and Willie Jefferson to solidify that defensive line. Irreplaceable, both of those guys. And Zach Collaros, come on, you can't. Most outstanding player. We struggled in Winnipeg for how long to find a quarterback? Minus the Kahari years and a bit of Kevin Glenn, but you know what it's like not to have a QB. James West and James Murphy know what it's like for QBs to leave periodically. So it's good. We got to keep that. And my next one, because I already said Brandon Alexander, I'm keeping Nick Dembski. I'm keeping a receiver and a key Canadian on the team because that ratio is tough, and it's hard to find a Swiss Army knife player like Nick Dembski. You can return, you can run, you can catch. He does sweet jet sweeps, so I got to keep him. But bro, I also thought of Adam Bighill, Andrew Harris. I think it's almost time to cut. Not let him go. No, I know Winnipeg fans, you're gonna be mad, but not to let him go. But I think Johnny Augustine is back to go after another ratio breaker or buster. And he's just the dynamic that he brings in the new running style, I think. And hopefully Andrew Harris will stick around for a lower price. Stay home, bro. I don't know, but that's the thing, the risk of losing Andrew Harris.
Yeah. He just brings so much to the team. Like you saw in that West final, right?
Yeah.
Like when he started getting going, the team started getting going. And maybe not in the Grey Cup again, then in the 4th quarter, when he started getting going, it's like team started going too, right? It just, he would be hard to get rid of. But like you say, like, I was looking at this list and going, and I didn't even put a receiver on my list, but there's Lawler, there's Dembski, there's Bailey. Like I want all those guys back, right?
Well, Tarski.
Even the DBs. Like, I was looking at that going, wow, I want all those guys back, right? I mean,
without a doubt.
So I don't envy Kyle Walters going over this and trying to figure out what to do, but he did it back in 2019. And hopefully he can get the majority of these guys back, knowing that they're in a winning situation. Coach O'Shea is not entertaining the Elks, who obviously just hired Chris Jones. That's a story for another time.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
So so you have that, and then you have the coach coming back in O'Shea, right? And hopefully these guys want to play for O'Shea, and they'll take a little bit less to come back and play for them, right?
Absolutely. You hope that the culture is there so much that people will take a bit of a discount and feel it's a hometown discount, that because they feel wanted and they feel that brotherhood here. And of course, we can't blame players for leaving to make as much as they can. I almost considered like Sergio Castillo, man, because of the mess we had earlier in the year. Oh man, I hope we don't lose. I hope we don't go through kicking.
Yeah, I think they're going to sign him. I think he'll be an easy one to sign at least.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. I hope so. Let's do some more fun stuff. One thing that you're looking to do as a general manager of each CFL franchise, let's go from coast to coast, bro. Is that cool? We'll go from BC to Toronto. And I'll start it off with BC. I'm going to target that O-line. I'm going to look to sign maybe that Reverend Berg from Hamilton, or maybe wait for someone like Pat Neufeld to slip away from the Bombers. So I'm looking to solidify the O-line in BC. What are your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, they need that. They need to keep Riley upright. He was hitting the ground quite a bit. So yeah, if they can solidify that O-line a bit, it'll help him out. It'll definitely help that team out for sure.
Yeah, yeah. What do you got?
Like we say, we got a long list of Bomber free agents that are really good here on the O-line that they can steal from.
Yeah, yeah. How about Edmonton? What are your priorities at Edmonton GM there?
Can you say everything? Like
Chris Jones will say everything.
Yeah, Chris Jones will bring some stabilize that team, and he's definitely, for what he is as a person, sometimes with leaving, he's definitely a very good coach, defensive guru almost kind of thing, and he'll bring it in. But is Nick Arbuckle going to be the guy there? I would think so. So sure. They have a bunch of receivers. The D wasn't too bad. So again, I don't know. Like most of these teams, I think are going to need an O-line that can keep. Obviously we see that here in Winnipeg how good that O-line is, right? So I'll probably go the same thing with the Elks.
Yeah, let's remember with Edmonton that they were expected to go deep into the playoffs in the CFL, so their roster is pretty strong. I'm actually looking for a receiver to take the top off of defenses like Lucky Whitehead or Brandon Banks to help their quarterback out, especially Arbuckle, because they have great receivers, possession receivers. Yeah. Like they have Darrell Walker and Ellingson. So get a guy to take the top off. And in Calgary, I'm going to make sure they re-sign Reggie Begelton. He's one of those rare number one receivers that just gets along with Bo Levi Mitchell. So I'm going to look to hang on with Begelton. What are you doing in Calgary if you're Huffnagel?
Yeah, I don't know if they were too far off this year. Their D was pretty good. Bo Levi struggled at the beginning of the year. I think for them, their biggest decision might be if you got to keep Bo Levi Mitchell, or if you're going to go with Jake Meyer instead, right? Last season or the year before, they decided to stick with Mitchell and let Arbuckle go. But I think their biggest decision was going to be at QB, and do you hand the reins off to Jake Meyer and let Bo Levi go, who's making quite a bit of coin. So to free up some cap space, it might be the way to go for them.
Yeah, we're going to go to Saskatchewan next, but I love what Huffnagel said, is that he's not signing anyone who can only play home games. That's for all the vaccinated players, non-vaccinated out there. He's not signing anyone who can only play home games. Let's go to Saskatchewan. Where would you target if you're a Saskatchewan GM? I'm looking to get someone like Brandon Alexander. You know how we talked about how he's a big piece. I say go for him, or Nick Taylor, or Winston Rose, because their secondary was weak last year. So I'd be going for that if I was Saskatchewan GM. How about you, bro?
Yeah, they better stay away from our Bomber players. We don't want anyone going there at all.
We're in trouble then, bro. We're in trouble.
Again, for me, from watching that Bomber, that West final, and even the West semifinal, Fajardo was running around quite a bit and didn't have much protection there. And once the Bombers got pinned their ears back, they were chasing. And it's a good thing Fajardo can run and move around in that pocket. So I would target that. And also, I think they need some help on receiver there for sure. They didn't have a lot of options there, especially late in the season. So those are the two areas I'd probably go with the Riders.
Yeah. I don't know if you did one for Winnipeg, because we touched on Kyle Walters earlier, but I want to add one that he's got to sign O'Shea to an extension. This is the year. You can't wait to let him go on the market and see what his options are. No. Get it done now. Yeah. Give him the keys and everything.
I think that the thing is Walters too. I think needs a contract too, because I think he's got 1 year left on his too. So Wade's got some work to do as well.
Wade on the board. They know what
Yeah.
they have to. They have to,
Yeah.
bro. How about Ottawa? What do you got Ottawa doing? What?
Is
From
this
good to
another
bad?
one that's everything? Like, I don't know. They don't have a QB.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some of their receivers. That they have any, like, they're just a mess from the top down. Their defense, I've played some good games this season, so maybe that's where they're okay. But that whole offense, and it's disappointing to know that you got Paul Lapolice there, who's a offensive guy, and that offense struggled, and there was nothing really good about it at all this year. So I would start on the offense.
I say put all your money in bag and go for the guy that you mentioned earlier, Jake Meyer. Because Calgary's not going to let go of Bo Levi Mitchell until Meyer is yours. So Ottawa, put all your money in the bank for that guy, because I think he might be the next one. How about Hamilton? What should they do? I have them keeping Revenberg and Van Zyl. They got to keep that O-line together, because you know me, O-line obsessed. So what do you got for Hamilton?
Yeah, O-line for sure. And yeah, you if you have the guys, you got to sign those guys. For Hamilton, they got to figure out who to go with, Dane Evans or Mazzoli. Maybe get something out of one or the other and trade them away. I'm pretty sure Evans is a free agent. I don't know if Mazzoli is as well, but
yeah, he is.
They got to figure out that situation. They also got to look for some help on a little bit more help on receiver and not rely on Speedy Banks, who's 34. Actually, I didn't even know he was that old.
Man.
And their defense looked pretty good to me in the Grey Cup. They hung on, pretty good, and they're stopping the Bombers pretty good until later in that game. But yeah, I think the biggest issue is got to figure out that QB situation. And they got a good, decent third stringer. So if you're getting rid of one of those guys, third stringer is Watford there. If you're getting rid of Mazzoli or Evans, you're still kind of safe that your backup's still okay.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, in Toronto and Montreal, I need Toronto to go get a big-bodied receiver like Reggie Begelton. We talked about Calgary needs to keep him, especially if you're keeping that three last names dude at quarterback. If you're not going to bring in Dane Evans or anything like that, go get a big receiver. So three last names can throw the ball up like he loves to. And in Montreal, I say go get a tackle. Go to Hamilton, pry Van Zyl out of there to make sure Adams stays on his feet. And they also got to sign that Jake Weineke as a receiver. But who do you got in Toronto and Montreal, bro?
I'll agree with you there on Montreal. They for sure, if they can keep Adams upright and healthy throughout the whole season, then they got a shot, right? But if he's running around and getting crunched, I know part of it's him still getting taking hits that he probably shouldn't. So
yeah, but
I'll agree with you on that one. In Toronto, I think they got to move on from MBT or BLT or whatever he is at this point. You know what? They went, and I don't know how many free agents they have there, but
oh my gosh,
they went out and signed all these guys for their D. They they got the best that they could, and I think that was their weakest spot. They had Arbuckle, they got rid of him. I think with a decent QB, they're probably in that Grey Cup final instead of Hamilton. So for me, besides the receiver, yes, but they got to figure out that QB situation, and I don't think MBT is the answer.
Yeah. Whew, that's a lot of CFL action. We're going to take a break from CFL for a bit because they're on a break, but we'll pop in and out. We still got to talk about Chris Jones maybe next week, see how he's doing. And we'll probably have some great interviews coming up in 2022. So stay tuned for more CFL action. But let's move on to some NFL. Also, another league suffering with COVID. We got a game going on tonight. I'm not sure what the score is of that, but they're playing a third string quarterback right now in Washington. So tough times in the NFL and surprising times. Cards lost to the Lions. What are your thoughts on the NFL this weekend, brother?
Yeah, the Washington football team actually, with their third stringer, they're not actually out of this game. I mean, they're only down by 3 right now to the Eagles. So it's not bad when you got a third stringer. But yeah, with COVID running rampant, we saw some games get pushed back. We saw some teams playing, the Cleveland Browns played with their third stringer, Nick Mullins. He's got a nickname. I won't mention what that is on here, but
dirty. You're dirty.
But teams are just getting hit, and the NFL is just just rolling along. It's just like, you know what, we don't have time to stop. We'll move your game a couple days, and you guys got to go play. And I guess it helps when you got that many guys on a roster or whatever. So, but yeah, it's going through. And then again, we thought we were understanding the NFL last week or the week before, and then the Detroit Lions take out the Cards, and it's not take out the Cards by a last second field goal. I mean,
No,
they destroyed them from beginning to end.
yeah,
The Cards were never in this game. It was 17-0 at halftime for the Detroit Lions. So
yeah.
for the Cards, who are a team that were, at the top of the NFC, they've lost now 3 of their last 6 after starting 7-1. This is normal. This is what we've seen out of Cliff Kingsbury's team for the last few seasons since he's been there. Great first half of the season. Second half, it's like teams figure them out or something. Kyler Murray starts not being as good, and they start to falter. I mean, they probably gave themselves enough wins this year to make the playoffs still, but they can go from first to a wild card spot.
For sure they will. For sure. I love cheering for the Lions. Don't get they've been such a bad franchise for so long, and just seeing them win and Dan Campbell be happy and those players having a good time. Why not? I'll cheer for them. Good for you, Lions. And I don't mind seeing the Cardinals fall down a bit. I know you don't mind that at all. Me too. Being a 49ers fan.
I love watching that stuff.
Let's talk about another game that was kind of surprising and kind of not. The Pats and the Colts, a great matchup. The Patriots, they got down quick. They were down like 17-0 off the bat. And on the legs and back of Taylor, they just finished them off. What is this a reflection of? Are we seeing some Pats weaknesses, or are we seeing a Colts team that is better than people thought?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit. I would have thought maybe the Colts were a little bit better if Wentz had done a little bit more. But to me, it was almost like the Colts did to the Patriots what the Patriots did to the Bills a couple weeks before. It's like, hey, we're not going to need you to throw very much. We're going to run. We're going to pound it. Hopefully get some turnovers on D, which they did, and take it that way. I think they found a weakness in the Patriots, and they're like, okay, we're going to go at this. It's like picking at a scab. They're just going to keep going until it starts to bleed and they get through. And that's what they did. And the Colts have a great old line. They have a running back that's been on fire this year in Jonathan Taylor. So, why not use it, right?
Absolutely.
Will it work going forward? They're going to need more out of Wentz for sure. They're not going to just be able to run the ball. They're going to need Wentz to be able to throw that ball a little bit more than he did. When they gave him the opportunity, he threw it late in the game. He threw an interception, which gave the Patriots a chance to come back closer into that game. After that interception, they didn't let him throw again. And then Taylor ripped off that big run to basically put the game away. That didn't help for the Patriots that Mac Jones was struggled. He looked like a rookie in that first half. Second half, he came out. He looked a little bit better, but by that point, it was too big of a hole for them to come back in.
Yeah, I'm liking that scab picking metaphor you got there. That's pretty good. I'm going to use that one down the road. Just keep picking at it, and just gets going, just gets flowing. I think we just found out that the Patriots aren't a team that can play from behind. No. Mac Jones is not good in that position. I think Bill Belichick knows that very well. It's not like they tried to put themselves in that position. But I think what the Colts showed is that if you're aggressive and you just pound away at the beginning, you can put the Patriots in a bad position. And if you're a team with a good quarterback, you might want to go deep a couple times and see what happens, just to see if you can get that lead out on them and get them discombobulated and slow down that pass rush. But in the end, I think it's more of a Colts looking better than a lot of people thought they were. And that's probably because they're getting back to playing good, solid defense and good special teams. And they're relying on the run game and not putting anything on Wentz's shoulders. So I think if they keep going this way, they could be kind of slowly getting back into contender mode. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but just putting it out there. Just, put it out there.
What weren't they like 1-6 or something? Like, or 1-5 or something? They were,
yeah.
So they've ripped off some pretty good wins and now have a chance to take over the AFC South. So
yeah,
they're definitely playing some good football. I don't know if it'll take them far enough, but definitely way better.
The Dolphins were the one that started like 1-7, and now they're 7-7.
Yeah, they're another one.
Ooh,
wow.
Shout out to Dolphins
schedule they had.
Well, whatever. Win them. Let them win them. Win their game.
You got to win the games.
To the playoffs, anything can happen.
Exactly. You win the games in front of you. You can only do what you can do in front of you, right? So taking advantage.
They've been going through some bad times too, so I'll cheer for them if they get in. Why not? Let's look at Baltimore. I asked you this question early. I think it was second quarter, where I was like, is Huntley a better fit for Baltimore than Lamar Jackson, or does Lamar Jackson need to be reined in? Have you come to a conclusion on that question, bro?
Yeah, it's still hard for me to say. I got to see more out of Huntley, but he's looked pretty good in the games that he's played this year, and I was actually quite shocked. I didn't catch a lot of that game, but when I watched like the fourth quarter there, or whatever, like he was having no issues going through his reads, his progressions,
Yes.
and he did seem to hang back a little bit more than Lamar would, looking for his guys. Whereas
Yeah.
Lamar would look deep, and then it's like, okay, nope, I got to go. Whereas Huntley would go and look around, and then if he didn't have it, he would run, and he could run as well. But yeah, he looks pretty good. To me, I was just looking up on him, and he was undrafted. I don't understand how this guy was undrafted, and he's only been in the league now. I mean, was he rookie last year? And this is his second year, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Like, how was this guy missed? Like,
But a bit of it has to do with the way they look at quarterbacks still.
Yeah.
And, of course, you don't want to bring everything to race and prejudice, but a lot of times black quarterbacks are always overlooked, especially athletic black quarterbacks. So it's not surprising that someone like this slips through the cracks of the normal draft procedure, combine stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think he might be better than Lamar Jackson for this offense, man. Like you said, he lets his progressions happen. It's not like, oh, my number one's gone. No Andrews, I'm going to bolt.
Yeah.
He takes his time. And if he has to bolt, then he bolts. Maybe Lamar Jackson can do that in the future. I don't know. Do you think Lamar Jackson can be more of a pocket passer and be patient with the offensive system? Or is that just not his game that he can succeed at?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think he's there, and then something that, the next game he won't be there, and then he throws 4 interceptions. So he's still growing, and he's still figuring it out himself. And maybe one day he will get there. Right now, I don't think he's there. But he has shown that he can do that, and be that pocket guy and look all over and everything like that. So I wouldn't give up on him, but it's a good situation for Baltimore to have in Huntley and knowing what you have in Huntley before you give Lamar that big contract, right? I mean, they could easily, look at what Watson could have gone for this year, like
no doubt.
Can Lamar go for that? And then you still got the rookie, or not the rookie, but on the rookie contract that Huntley would have, even less because he was undrafted, right? And use that for the next 3-4 seasons and load up with these other draft picks. It'd be something interesting that Baltimore will have to look at.
Yeah,
I don't think they're getting rid of Lamar, though. I don't think it, but it's an option.
Hey, if they can trade him and get a lot of draft picks, why not, eh?
Yeah.
Maybe trade him to Steelers or something. I don't know. Let's talk about your boy, Urban Meyer, getting fired. I remember you texted me in August, and you texted me the Tim Tebow experiment is over. I was like, well, when is the Urban Meyer experiment going to be over? And that was in August. And it still blows my mind that an owner can't see how terrible this guy was, bro. Like, this is beyond time. This is beyond Paul Maurice's time to go. He's day one, he should have been gone.
Yeah, why did it take so long? Like, even the story, like the first coach, one of the coaches he hired, wasn't he racist or something? Like, he got in shit for something. And there's a flag right there. Like, and all the stuff that has been said about this guy throughout his college career as a coach, like, it's all there. Like, I mean, why did it take a story from a kicker that Urban kicked the kicker when he was stretching to get him fired, right? I don't know. At some point, you got to look at the owner there, and Saeed Khan. He's had a rough go as owner of that Jags. I think he's been there for 10 years. Yeah. They've had one winning record in that time. Gone through multiple coaches. Like, dude needs some help to help figure out how to run his football team and maybe step back and let someone. I know he tried that with the last group when he hired Tom Coughlin and all that, but again, he hired guys that, like Tom Coughlin, just he wasn't the right guy. Now he's got Trent Baalke, and as a Niner fan, I know Trent Baalke. You don't want Trent Baalke running your team. So. Yeah, I think that the issues in Jacksonville are going deeper than Myers, but Myers was definitely a gong show.
Yeah, Khan's got to get out of it. Anytime an owner gets involved this much into these major decisions, it's a tragedy, other than the Roonies. But I'm just saying, look at Miami, look in Washington, just get out of the kitchen, like we said so many times before, man. Jacksonville, just Khan, get out of there so you can change the culture, because that's what's needed. A football guy to change the culture and the owner to get out of the way. I don't know. I have nothing really else to say about Urban Meyer, bro. That was it. I'm glad he's gone. He's a piece of trash human being, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's gone. We talked about the playoffs a bit earlier on. We're going into a bit of a bye ourselves this week for the holiday break. So let's talk about the NFL playoffs and the playoff picture. Let's start with the NFC. Who do you see as NFC teams making the playoffs?
Yeah, making the playoffs, I think you got to lock with some of these teams for sure, like Green Bay, Dallas, Tampa Bay, making it for sure. Still going to go with it'd be pretty tough for the Cardinals to miss, even if they lost their last 3 games to finish 10-7. It's a possibility, but I think I'm still going to go with them making it as well, along with the Los Angeles Rams. So for me, it's the wild card, the 6 and 7 spot really for the NFC that are going to be a fight. I do see San Francisco making it. I feel they have a winnable game against the Titans this week. It's winnable. It could go either way. The only problem is San Francisco's traveling across country or not cross country, but traveling to Tennessee on a short week. And then that number 7 spot, I don't know. There's so many teams there that go. Minnesota played the Bears last night. They look terrible. Yeah. Kirk Cousins threw for 87 yards. I'm going to give that last spot, that number 7 spot, if they end up winning tonight, to the Eagles.
Fair. I got Packers, Bucks, Cowboys, Cards taking their divisions. I have Mini, San Fran, and the Rams sneaking in with the wild card. In the AFC, I have the Chiefs staying in at number 1. They have control of their destiny, and they have a pretty nice schedule to do that. And then I have the Pats, Titans, Bengals cleaning up on their divisions, and the Bills, Chargers, and Colts sliding in as wild cards. Who do you have in the AFC?
Yeah, pretty close to similar. I do feel that the Colts are going to overtake Tennessee and take that division. Just the way the teams have been playing lately, and without Derrick Henry, Tennessee's definitely suffered. But yeah, pretty much the same. Baltimore, no, I'll go with, I'll stick with what you said. Pretty much all of it. Unfortunately, Buffalo, Chargers, Colts, Bengals, Titans, Patriots, and Kansas City.
Matching up toe to toe. I do think the Titans will take their division because I think they will at least beat the Texans at the end of the year just to win that division. And the Texans are pretty bad, but who knows? Who knows it this year? Who knows?
Exactly. Weren't the Lions pretty bad this Sunday?
Going into Sunday. Oh my goodness. Let's go to some of our listeners' favorite segment, Ray and Benny versus the coin. We still have a game going on right now, but we'll talk about next week's games. Or what were the results from last week, at least up to now?
Yeah, so the only other game we have going tonight is the Eagles and the Washington football team. That's what we have left. So far going into yesterday, where are you? You had the Broncos on Sunday, which ended up losing. So you're sitting at 1-2. The coin is also at 1-2 because they had the Broncos. And myself, I am also sitting at 1-2. So
not much is going to change really here.
No,
the coin's just going to sneaky.
Myself and the coin both had the Eagles, so we may finish off 2-2, whereas you may go 1-3 because you took that Washington football team that was suffering from a bunch of COVID cases.
Or I might go 2-2 if they come back and win it. Who knows? What do you got in the first game? Rams, Vikings. Vikings at home.
Yeah, I can't trust the Vikings at all, so I'm going to go with the Rams.
I also taking the visiting Rams. Coin, what do you got to say?
Here comes the coin.
Dun, 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 dun. Heads for home.
Wow.
The Vikings. The coin wants to win. Good job, coin. Let's go to the next matchup. We got the Colts and the Cards. We talked about both of those teams kind of going in 2 different directions. I will take the Colts in this game. Who do you got?
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. After watching last week's performance from both of these teams, I'm definitely going with the Colts.
What will the coin say? What will the coin say? Heads! He's taking the home team. He's taking the Cards.
Wow.
The coin really wants to win this week, bro. The coin. We got a great AFC East matchup with the Bills and the Pats. A huge game, actually. A revenge game, maybe, for the Bills after that runaholic game that the Pats had against them. Who are you picking in this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that revenge factor and go with the Buffalo Bills to beat the New England Patriots this week.
All right. All right. I say the Pats are going to come back home angry and win at home. Yeah. What do we got there, Coin? Tails. The Coin's going with you, brother. It's taking the Bills on the road. And we got one more matchup. AFC North matchup. Ravens against Bengals. That division's up in the air. Steelers still alive. Who do you got in that matchup?
Well, I've gone with the Bengals for the past 2 weeks. I'm 1-1. I'm going to go with them for a third week and see what they can do for me.
Even after that glowing review of Huntley, eh? Even after that glowing review.
Well, Lamar might be back. I don't know.
He might be back, and they might lose.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I'm gonna go with you there. So if anything goes away, what does the Coin say?
Here it goes.
Tails with the Ravens. Whoo! This is gonna be a good week with the Coin. Either the Coin pulls away or the Coin gets sunk deep into the ground on this one. This should be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's go to Benny's Brickhead of the week. I've been looking forward to this one all week. I can't wait to see who gets this Brickhead. Who do you got, brother?
You know what? There's no one else better, really, at this point than we talked about him earlier, Urban Meyer. You know what?
Hey.
Congrats on winning my Brickhead of the week, Urban Meyer. You really showed your true colors so far this season. So hope you enjoy that brick.
Yeah, man. What a guy. Didn't you mention that restaurant video? What a fool.
Oh, jeez.
What a fool. Go back to college. Before
don't even go there. Just go away.
Yeah, go away. I agree with you. He won't be getting hot dogs. I can tell you that. Let's go to eat that hot dog. It's one of my favorite theme musics going on. There it is. First hot dog goes out to Mackenzie Zacharias and her team that won the Manitoba Scott Tourney of Hearts and are going on to the national championships. So shout out, hot dog to Mackenzie Zacharias and her team on winning the Manitoba Tournament of Hearts.
I'm gonna give one out to Tiger Woods. Good to see him back out there golfing again and playing around, playing a tournament there with his son. Man, does this kid look good already for being the age that he is? So
it's ridiculous.
You know what? Enjoy that hot dog, Tiger, and hopefully we'll see you more on the golf course.
And I want more hot dog to Dave Lowry. Way to go to get that first win. Unfortunately, the rest of your coaching debut will have to be put on hold till we get back from the elongated break. But congratulations. Have a hot dog, Dave Lowry. You got any shout outs, brother?
Yeah, so hopefully this tournament can continue on and it doesn't get shut down. But shout out to Team Canada in the World Juniors tournament coming up, and also to Cole Perfetti. Good luck out there and go win that gold.
Definitely. Anything to say to the people?
You know what? One more time, go check out our Willard Reeves interview there on your favorite platform. Check it out. Let us know what you think about it. Other than that, you know what? Have a good week. Enjoy. Have a good holidays. We'll see you guys. Talk to you guys in a couple of weeks, I guess, right? So have a good one.
And in the famous words of Santa Claus, Merry Christmas. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports, and check out our YouTube channel, Ray and Benny Talk Sports. Go subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think.